Mark chapter 14. The betrayal and arrest of Jesus Christ. At this time, it was only 2 days before the celebration of the Passover and the festival of the unleavened bread. And the leading priests and authorities of the law were looking for a good opportunity to arrest Jesus secretly and kill him. But they decided not during the celebration of the Passover and unleavened bread, for the masses will surely revolt. Now Jesus was in Bethany, in the residence of Simon, who had leprosy. A woman approached him as he was seated at the table, dining. She had an alabaster receptacle in which there was a very expensive fragrance made of spikenard. Breaking the receptacle, she emptied the fragrance on Jesus' head. But some followers and spectators who witnessed it were upset and somewhat furious, asking, just what is the justification of such waste? Such high-quality fragrance could easily have been sold for more than 300 denarii and the money given as charity to the needy. And they blamed and criticized her bitterly. But Jesus told them, please, leave her alone. Why are you pestering her? She has only done an excellent thing for me. There will always be needy and less fortunate people with you. And anytime you wish, you may be kind to them and help them. But I will not always be here with you. She has rightly done the best thing she could. She emptied this fragrance on my body to prepare me for burial. Truly, I tell you now, anywhere this gospel is taught, anywhere it is preached throughout the world, the good this woman has done will be proclaimed in remembrance of her. At that point, one of the 12 apostles, Judas, surnamed Iscariot, went to the leading priest to betray Jesus to them. They were quite delighted to hear Judas' plans, and they agreed to pay him for the business. And so Judas sought quite secretly an excellent opportunity to betray Jesus to them. On the initial day of the unleavened bread festival, when the Passover lambs were slain, the followers of Jesus approached him, asking, where would you like us to set the Passover meal for you to eat? And Jesus dispatched 2 of his followers and told them, enter the city, and you will notice a strange man carrying a full water jar. He will approach you. Follow him. Follow him right into the building he enters, and tell the owner of the property, the teacher asks you, where is the guest suite where my apostles and I may have the Passover feast? And he will show you a furnished suite of considerable size upstairs. Get everything set in that suite for us. And so the followers proceeded to the city and found the place just as Jesus had told them, and they set the Passover feast. By evening, Jesus came to the place with the 12 apostles. As they were all seated at the table and eating their meal, Jesus said, truly I tell you now, one of you seated here eating with me at the table will betray me. And the disciples were extremely sad and sorry, and each began to ask Jesus, am I the one? Jesus replied and told them, it is the one of you, 12, apostles of mine, one who dipped his hand in the food container with me. Surely the Son of Man departs, as it is inscribed in the Scriptures, but woe betide that person who betrays him. No doubt it would have been better for that person if he never existed, if he had not been born in this world. And while they were eating, Jesus took some bread, gave the Lord God thanks and praise, broke the bread, and gave it to his apostles, saying, "Take and eat. This is my flesh." Later, Jesus took the cup, gave the Lord God thanks and praise. He gave the cup to his disciples, and each and every one of them drank from it. And Jesus told them, "This is my blood, the blood of the new covenant, shed for multitudes, so that sins may be pardoned. For truly I tell you now, I shall not drink of any drink from the vine until the day comes when I will drink it fresh in the monarchy of the Lord God." And at that point, they sang a song of praise to God and proceeded to the Mount of Olives. Now Jesus told his disciples, "Tonight, every one of you will flee and leave me alone. For it is inscribed in the scriptures, God will strike the shepherd, and all the sheep in the herd will disperse. But after my resurrection, I will proceed to Galilee before you." Peter replied and told Jesus, "Even if all your followers flee from you, I will never flee from your presence." And Jesus told Peter, "Truly I tell you now, that this very night, before the cock crows twice, you will thrice deny that you know me." But Peter replied firmly and quite zealously, "I am ready to be slain with you. I will never deny you because of that." And all the followers of Jesus completely agreed with Peter. And then Jesus and his followers came to a special place called Gethsemane, and he instructed them, "You may sit here while I beseech the Lord." And Peter and the two offspring of Zebedee, James and John, accompanied Jesus, and he was gradually becoming very sad, obviously enduring great pain and suffering. And at that point he told them, "My soul is extremely sad and nearly crushed by grief. Stay in this place and keep watch." And now Jesus moved away from them a little bit, and he lowered himself humbly and implored the Lord that, if possible, he might not have to experience the present pain and anguish. And he prayed, "Oh, Abba, Father, with you everything is possible. Take this cup of suffering away from me, if you please. But not as I please, only as you please." Now Jesus proceeded towards his followers and found them soundly asleep, exhausted by stress and sorrow. And he asked Peter, "Simon, why do you fall asleep at this time? Why are you not able to stay awake and be alert as I am, even for only 1 hour? Arise and pray, that you may not fall into temptation. Truly the spirit is determined, but the body is only weak." Again Jesus went away and entreated the Lord as before, speaking the same words. He returned and found his followers sleeping again. They just could not remain awake and alert. And they just did not know what to tell Jesus. Then he approached his followers the third time and addressed them. "Are you still slumbering, weary and resting? That should suffice. Behold, the time has come. The Son of Man is being handed over to the authority of evildoers. Stand up, let us proceed. Behold, the traitor is here." And while Jesus was still addressing them, an unusual throng arrived, directed by Judas, the traitor, amongst the 12 apostles. They came from the leading priests, the authorities of the law, and the elders of the nation, firmly armed with weapons. Now Judas the traitor had given them a sign. He told them, "Anyone I kiss, he is the one we are looking for. Arrest him without delay and keep him under maximum security and surveillance." So as soon as Judas came, he went straight before Jesus and addressed him, "Rabbi, teacher, peace be with you." And he kissed Jesus. At that point they came, arrested Jesus, and shackled him. And at once one of those standing nearby drew his sword and attacked the servant of the supreme priest, wounding him and slashing his right ear. At that point Jesus replied and told them, "Have you come armed with swords and clubs, as though you were looking for a thief or criminal? I was amongst you every day in the holy temple teaching, and you did not come to arrest me, but all these events occurred so that the scriptures of God's envoys might be accomplished." At this point, all the followers of Jesus abandoned him and ran away. There was one young man who followed Jesus. He was robed in a linen garment. The youthful troops tried to arrest him, but he abandoned his linen garment and ran away stark naked. And the arresting officers and agents took Jesus away to the supreme priest Caiaphas. The leading priests, the elders of the people, and the authorities of the law had already gathered there. Peter, following Jesus, went after him from a safe distance to the courtyard of the supreme priest, and cautiously he entered and had a seat among the servants, warming his body near the fire, for it was a cold day. At this time, the leading priests and the entire council sought any evidence or some false accusation against Jesus in order to award him capital punishment. But they did not find anything. Even though many liars and slanderers tried to press charges, their testimonies were contrary and conflicting. Then a few men got up and lied against Jesus, saying, "We heard this suspect declare, 'I will ruin God's house, God's holy temple, built by human effort, and in only 3 days establish another without human effort.'" But even then, their stories were only contradictory and controversial. The supreme priest got up and asked Jesus, "Look, an accusation has been made against you, and are you silent? Have you no response?" But Jesus only remained silent, and once more the supreme priest addressed him, saying, "Do inform us, are you the Christ, the Son of God, most blessed?" Jesus replied, "I am, and henceforth you will see the Son of Man enthroned and reigning at the right hand of the omnipotent authority, appearing and approaching on the clouds of heaven." At this point, the supreme priest rent his robes, shouting, "We need no more eyewitnesses, do we? Blasphemy! You just heard the suspect utter blasphemy, grave blasphemy. So, what is your judgment?" They all judged him guilty and deserving capital punishment. Some people came and blindfolded Jesus, and they spat all over him and assaulted him, and they told him, "Hey, prophesy now, who struck you? Make a quick guess." And the officers battered him with their palms and bare fists. Next, one of the women serving in the place approached as Peter was sitting in the courtyard of the supreme priest. She observed him closely as he warmed his body by the fire, and when she recognized him, she said, "You were surely with Jesus of Nazareth." But Peter immediately denied Jesus and said, "I am not aware of and surely cannot grasp what you are talking about." And he left and came to the porch, and almost then a cock crowed. Again, the lady serving in the area saw Peter, and she informed the people who stood nearby, "This man certainly is one of those people." But once more Peter denied it, and not long after that, people standing by approached Peter and told him, "Certainly you belong to their group, for you are from Galilee. Your manner of speech is not like ours, but obviously like theirs." Peter again denied with an oath, He cursed vehemently, and while he was declaring, "I don't know that man," the cock crowed the second time, and Peter recalled everything Jesus had told him. "Before the cock crows twice, you will thrice deny me." So Peter reflected and wept regretfully.